Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And Blizzard is addressing the haters when it comes to the next expansion, Midnight. Blizzard is taking some serious risks with the next expansion. If you've been living under a rock, you may not know, but they are basically limiting a lot of accessibility from add-ons, particularly ones that are involved with combat. So think weak auras and cooldown trackers as the most prominent ones, but there's going to be some collateral damage with things like damage meters as well. And they are doing this to level up the baseline UI experience so that people can just log in and play the game and not feel all this peer pressure and have to go to third-party websites and download additional software in order to access the game at an equal competitive playing field to other players. And for myself personally, at least, I am pretty pro add-on removal and baseline UI improvement. I think that it's definitely holding back the potential of the game and has always been a little bit of a turnoff for any potential newcomers or even current players who just don't want to play the game with the foghorns and the whistles telling them where to go and what exactly to do, and they prefer to actually play the game for what is available to them in front of them. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you pro add-on? Are you anti add-on? Does this not make any sense at all? Because obviously the social media posts that I've been seeing over the past couple of months have been developing and increasing in terms of level of anxieties and level of anger as well towards Blizzard. It seems like there is a lot of doubt towards their ability to actually deliver on this experience. I think it is that doubt that Blizzard is looking to address with the post that I wanted to cover in today's video, because obviously there's a lot of skepticism as to whether or not this can all be delivered, especially on the time frame that they're wanting to deliver it, with player housing coming out with early access on December 2nd. Speaking of which, if you want to enter a giveaway to earn a copy of the Epic Midnight Edition, I will have a link to my X account in the description down below to where you'll be able to follow the instructions and enter. Absolutely free to enter, and the winner will be drawn on December 2nd, so you'll be able to get access to that early access housing. But it's talking about that early access housing is that's a lot. Like, they got to make sure that that's working. And they've said in the past that that would have cost a raid tier in order to implement something like that. So it's a big undertaking. Player housing. They are stripping down all of the classes and looking to kind of simplify them for a better kind of baseline experience, a little bit less daunting, remove a lot of the button bloat, take down some of the cooldown modifiers as well. And for the most part, I think we're moving in a pretty decent direction on most specializations. Some of them, maybe it's a little bit too far. Again, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, I'm reviewing all the specializations here. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any news or updates in relations to that, because there's likely going to be another beta build actually today that we're going to be able to jump on, and I'm curious to see if they address any of the specializations that kind of are hitting some pain points. I'm thinking Mage in particular at the moment, but possibly Hunter as well, with 3-second aim shots, and I think Fire Mage ability count. Some players are freaking out about this, but I feel like this is the right time to do it. A lot of us who have been playing WoW for a long time, we're getting older, families, responsibilities, don't have the 8 hours a day to be min-maxing all of these different little modifier stacking add-on programming things in order to perform optimally, right? It'd be nice to just be able to log in and chill and not try and figure out if you're losing because somebody just has this huge competitive advantage over you. So this feels like the right time to do it, but it's just such a big undertaking to do all of it at the same time. It just seems so massive to do it all at the same time. Can they actually deliver? So let's review today's post to see if they're going to be able to deliver that. So we got the MVP Kyvax here. Hello, we have some thoughts for those of you who are testing the damage meters function. This is something we consider to be in heavy ongoing development, and we rolled it out when we did because we didn't want to do end game testing without it. Now, obviously, they're doing dungeons, they're doing raids. There's probably going to be a PvP one. Now, I think in the War Within beta, the PvP test bugged out or something. I think the BG one bugged out. I'd be surprised if we can't test it. But to me, it seems like their main priority at the moment is housing, because that comes out early access December 2nd, and then probably UI is the next major thing, right? Because if these things don't work, it's going to be, it's going to be pretty bad. I think it's going to be pretty bad if those things don't work. So the damage meter is obviously one of those components, but it's not the only component. The health bars above players' heads, they did a fix for the stacking ones. It works when there's only about 2 targets, and as soon as you go beyond 2 targets, the health bars start going into the ground and up into the ceiling and all over the place. So there's still a lot to go on there, but let's see what they have to say about the damage meters. The damage meters in the beta today are far from their final form. There's a lot of custom handling that damage meter add-ons and sites like Warcraft Logs use to consolidate damage sources from player spells like Whirlwind or Immolation Aura into a single event, and we have similar handling in place in a few weeks. Notice this is in a few weeks. So this is just the damage meter component of this. Currently, several encounter mechanics and self-damage sources are being picked up by damage meters. These are bugs and are being fixed. Okay, this is good. And this is another thing too, at least in PvP situations, you don't want to track damage done to pets for the most part, right? Because a lot of classes have AoE damage in their kit. A lot of classes summon random pets. That random AoE damage hits these random pets. That's kind of irrelevant damage as far as determining how effective you were in the match. So being able to filter out that is something I'm hoping that they'll be able to add as well. I mean, just basically making details, right? Just copying details over. Based on feedback, we are going to adjust how damage from pets and guardians is sorted, with the goal of those being intermingled in the list from most to least damage dealt, instead of always sorting to the bottom. So this is an important one based on feedback. So they are being responsive. We just need to test, tell them what's not working, what we're upset about, or what direction we'd like it taken in, and they will be responsive to it. They will be looking into it and they'll be fixing it. This is going to be an ongoing thing. Like I said, it's a massive undertaking to do all at the same time. So I'm doing my best here with the channel, relaying whatever feedback I've got. It's mostly focused around the class design, because for me, that's the engine, the vehicle of the game. So it's, to me, the most important component to the overall experience for the game, for everybody to have a good time. And ultimately, that's my goal too with the game, is to help you guys have the best time that you can have, because if we ain't having a good time in the game, then you guys ain't going to be watching the videos. So that is the ultimate goal, the ultimate end game there with that regard. So this is a very important part of the post here. So if you're testing something and it's not working, make a forum post, report it on the bug reporter in game, make sure that we're getting people aware of it. Obviously, a big bug right now in PvP is the trinkets. I'm hoping that's going to be addressed in the build that they're likely releasing today, because it's making it impossible to do instanced PvP. There are a lot of display settings already available in options, but we are iterating on and improving the formatting of your defaults. An example of this, in a future beta update, the default damage done view will show both total damage and DPS side by side. I mean, it's good. I mean, that's like the core component of the damage meter. So I mean, this is good. We're working on an enemy damage taken breakdown, so you can see how much damage each enemy in an encounter took from each player. This is several weeks out. We're also working on death recap functionality, because it's important to have a clear understanding of what caused the death. These are obviously very important components, because at the end of a solo shuffle, if I want to figure out what went wrong, I will open up the damage meter and look at who did my partner attack more. And so it says encounter, but this is also an important component for PvP. And then obviously when you die in the game, knowing what took you out, it's going to be pretty useful. It's going to be pretty useful, especially in the beta testing. It can help figure out which abilities are kind of hitting too hard, where should the damage be reallocated to. It's really important for just overall tuning. So not having the ability to filter for that is definitely going to be difficult to get proper testing. Over the next few weeks, we'll implement many updates to damage meters, always considering that cosmetic or readability changes are a lower priority than basic functionality. And I do believe that you can reskin most of this stuff. I've actually seen people who are probably the most non-believers in the UI updates for Blizzard, that they're already downloading add-ons that can change the font and change the skin of it. They're not intending on removing your ability to customize the visual components of your UI. It's just limiting overall combat data, so the game isn't putting marks on the floor telling you where to go automatically, and all these types of automated functionalities. And again, we turned on the damage meters in the beta before implementing all of the above to get early feedback. This feedback is super useful, and we want to prioritize our work based on what's going to be most important and impactful to players. So thank you very much, and keep it coming. So to me, this is a little bit of I think they're aware of the hostility right now. It seems like the hostility is mostly from the competitive PvE side of things, those dungeons or raids. For the most part, I've seen PvPers are pretty stoked about it with everything that's coming through. And a lot of the casual audience as well is pretty stoked about the add-on removal. But again, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I'm totally misreading the room here. But I feel like this post is mostly addressing the hostility and the lack of belief in terms of being able to deliver on this. Now, I do think it's important that we report feedback, but it's like there's a lot of just like overall like doom, right? It's just like this is the end of the game, it's all over because of this. There's no way they can do it, and I don't know if that's helping anything. I think it's better to just focus on actual actionable feedback and addressing it as it comes. There's no reason to getting like overly hostile or personally attacking or whatever else. Just kind of keep it chill and keep relaying the feedback, and as time moves on, things are going to be iterated on, things are going to be worked on, and then hopefully they can deliver on this experience, because I think that this is the time to do it. I've seen a ton of people really excited for it, but that's the end of the post here. That's the gist of it. Just wanted to give you an update on Blizzard's thoughts, how they're dealing with the seemingly haters on social media and the like, and I think this is the correct mode for them. The haters do have legitimate feedback. They're just very emotional, and I think they're very emotional because their performance is going to be tied to how this UI functions, and if their performance goes down, they will feel very bad, right? That's why there's hostility there, and some people are just hostile for the sake of being hostile, but I think it's actually a much smaller amount of people who are like that, but the hostility coming from players is mostly just because they're worried and afraid that without this proper functionality, that their experience and their performance is going to go down, and that's their main concern when communicating, or at least that's what I'm going to try and pull out of it. I'm going to try and give some people the benefit of the doubt. It's good to do that. Otherwise, you might go insane and think that everybody is evil. But other than that, thank you guys very much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the update, and I will see you in the next one.